circling back to QB1 and Jaden Daniels real quick. Do you know how I know that he's going to be QB1 come week 1?
That the other guy's Marcus Mariota?
The other guy's Marcus Mariota. That's exactly right.
So, like, when they traded away Howell, it also sets, like, this clear on-ramp for Daniels. Like, Mariota's been a starter. Like, he's been the number 2 overall pick. He's been anointed. He's been given every opportunity, and it hasn't gone well or correct for him, which makes it a lot easier. Like, if it was still Howell, it'd be a lot more difficult to say. There are real competitions in life, and then there are fake competitions in life. And Dan Quinn and Adam Peters and the Commanders are going to talk about competing at every position every day. We're going to compete every day. We're going to get better every day. And that's terrific. But this is not going to be a real competition. It's going to be Daniels, unless it's completely broken, which I don't expect. Like, you know where they're going to have a real competition? Left tackle. Brandon Coleman, Cornelius Lucas. Come on down.
Tight end.
I think it's Ertz because he's veteran, but there's a real decision to be made. You go to me into it. You want to go 53 now? 5-3? I can give you offense today. I'll give you defense Monday. Or depending how many other guests bail, maybe I'll give it all to you today. All
right, scheduling update. Will Brinson is on at 11:30. Cody's going to be on at 11:45.
Terrific. Thank you. I think they keep 3 quarterbacks. Who are your 3 quarterbacks? I'm going Daniels, Mariota. I don't know. I haven't watched either of these young men throw a football. But wouldn't you much rather keep Sam Hartman around than 31-year-old Jeff Driscoll? I don't know, but like if you think about the Purdy methodology that the Niners, they kind of just dumb lucked into that. Right?
I'm sure Jeff Driscoll's a great guy, but I remember reading a couple of years ago that he was going to try out positions that weren't quarterback to see if he could stick in the NFL. I feel like maybe that's not the guy that you need on your roster.
I mean, the odds are when you're playing a third-string quarterback, you're kind of effed anyway. But I think I would take the young guy. Now, I don't know. For Hartman to start as many games as he did and have a relatively accomplished college career, right? Like, they won a lot of games at Wake even. For Hartman to put that resume together and then go not drafted coming out of Notre Dame, I do wonder if there's like arm strength questions or something. Like maybe he doesn't quite have a pro arm. I don't know. But like there has to be some impediment there. So it's possible, but if it's me just on the surface level and it's like, all right, well, we can roll with this young guy or this veteran that's bounced around 6-7 seasons and is 31, I'd go with the young guy. I got to see them both throw, but you could also, I can't imagine, even with the new rules and everything, I can't imagine Driscoll has practice squad eligibility anymore, and Hartman certainly does. So maybe that's like a stash. But as of today, 5-3, 53, Daniels, Mariota, Hartman. Running backs gets a little more interesting. Basically, there's just some math to do because you're probably, you want to keep 10 offensive linemen no matter what. Some of it will be what is Ben Sennett listed as, right? Like, I think he's a tight end, but if they try to like pretend he's a fullback or an H-back or something, kind of could make the math a little funky. And they did just sign an undrafted kid out of Southern Cal, where Kingsbury was last year, that could be, could push at running back. But I don't think the running back position is that difficult. Robinson, Rodriguez, Eckler. I think that's pretty simple there. Or as of right now, Jeremy McNichols is on the roster. I think he was a late season ad. Or maybe he was actually a free agent now that I'm looking at it. But regardless, I don't see them spending 4 roster spots there. Maybe it'll depend on what happens with the tight end spot. Tight end, Jeff, to your earlier point, there's going to be some competition at the bottom of the tight end roster. Like Cole Turner, Armani Rogers, are you healthy? Are you back? But now they signed Ertz. He's on the roster. Sennett is on the roster. I would still think John Bates is kind of the leader in the clubhouse of the returning players. And then how deep are you going there, especially at a position where special teams was a huge part of that? But in the new kickoff rules, how different does that look? Like, are tight ends more valuable because they can be blockers and they're not necessarily as like kickoffs used to kind of be dominated by receivers and safeties. Now, though, it's more of a running play and there's less sprinting from far distances. You know what I mean? And perhaps tight ends and linebackers and even running backs, like we've seen their role get marginalized. Maybe this helps return their role to some level of prominence. I don't know. Spitballing here. But QB, RB, tight end, as of today, I got 3 each at each spot, 9 players. Daniels, Mariota, Hartman, Robinson, Eckler, Rodriguez, Ertz, Sennett, Bates. This is a very fluid projection. Wideout gets interesting. I have a question mark with just one player on my wide receiver roster. It's not Terry McLaurin. It's not Jahan Dotson. It's not Luke McCaffrey that they just drafted. Olamide Zaccheaus is a dude they signed this offseason. I think Zaccheaus relatively comfortably on the roster. I think Jamison Crowder showed a lot last year and is relatively comfortably on the roster. You know who get the question mark for me? De'Ami Brown. That's a former 3rd-round pick of the old administration that really hasn't shown much in. He had that one game where he caught 2 touchdown passes from Carson, I think. Was that the Tennessee game? I think he got loose twice deep. Does have speed. I mean, in 3 seasons, how many catches do you think De'Ami Brown has in 3 years here?
I mean, it's not a good sign that you're asking the question. So there's that. I'm going to guess that he has 29.
Did you look it up?
No.
You nailed it.
Oh.
That's bizarre that you hit that. In 3 years.
That's not good, by the way.
No.
It's really not good.
29 catches for 476 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Ideally, that's like 4 or 5 games worth of catches.
Dude, he's going into the last year of his deal. It's not like it's not a ton of money, but the last year of rookie deals, you get paid the most. And it basically, you get paid your previous 3 salaries all stacked up into one. So, salary-wise, he'll make some money here. You never want to be an underperforming rookie contract from the old regime when the new regime comes to town. That's just like a rule of thumb. It's worth watching what happens there. I'll give you my old line quick because we don't know what's going to happen here. My starting 5 projection is Coleman, Allegretti, Biadish, Cosme, Wiley. Then I got Cornelius Lucas, the dude Dieter they signed. You need a backup center, Ricky Stromberg, Chris Paul, and then Trent Scott, backup tackle.